a plane.
They don't have the opposable thumbs.
Dexterity. Like, turn right. And have you ever noticed that box cutters?
Does that buzz about box cutters?
You're listening to the Noisy Business Podcast, the unapologetic comedy podcast that takes you deep into the semi-sophisticated mind of Brayton.
Have you even heard of the bro code? I've considered selling marijuana, but I just don't know how to get it. Pretty sure that dude's a Nazi. She said my dick was racist.
And the untamed imagination of Sean.
I never learned how to wash my hands. I was homeschooled, okay? It made me cream my pants. There's people in the audience that need to know we're talking about dicks.
Sit back and turn your volume down. It's about to get noisy.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Noisy Business Podcast. I am your host, Brayton, and of course, across the way
Is your other host.
the other
Sean.
host, the blast from the other ass, Sean.
That's not an expression, but who knows? After this weekend, it could be. You want to know why?
It's Valentine's Day
weekend.
Oh, man, a couple of big things have happened within the last 24 hours that we're going to talk about.
Oh, yeah.
Sean's got a little prickly tale to tell. And
things have occurred. Things have occurred, and you guys are going to want to stick around to figure out what happened.
The galaxy apparently is not far enough away for Gina Carano.
Oh, we got some sad news about some people,
but it's some interesting topics, some large scale conversations to be had around this on free speech, repercussions for what that speech is. It's going to be a grand old time, and we're just happy that you are listening in on the podcast, and we really do appreciate it.
Of course. All right, Bray. So,
Sean, how are you feeling?
How am I feeling? Is that what we want to talk about first?
I mean, we don't have to. We could. I mean, listen. Valentine's is this weekend, and what's in the air?
Well, you would think that it would be love is in the air, but technically it's COVID-19. So make sure that you wear your mask. Put a mask on around your private parts. You know, there's not enough research that says wearing a mask down there, you know, actually helps or prevents COVID-19 or other sexually transmitted diseases. So honestly, if the CDC is already asking you now to wear 2 masks on your face when you're walking around, just put an extra one around your good bits. So why not?
So the mask, is in addition to our underwear, or is this a nice little sexy mask thong that we can kind of incorporate into our bedrooms?
So I think it's so that your junk doesn't catch COVID. First of all, I think that's what's on the forefront of everybody's mind. But really, it could be if you are adventurous enough in the bedroom, some people would say it is a tool, if used correctly, a very sensual piece of light lingerie. You know, you could put that on, you rip it off really easy, and it doesn't really matter because it's just a mask. It's easily replaced.
And you know, you're not going to get COVID. Yeah. So you're telling me that I should stop picking up masks from the streets and rubbing them on my grundle?
I would probably have said you should have never have done that.
But you know how hard it was to find masks on the streets before all this?
Not hard.
No, it was very hard.
Oh, before all this.
I'm talking 2018, Brayton. Scrounging around the gutter. Yeah. There was no mask to be found.
So they said it was an airborne virus. It's like, I'm pretty sure air still touches my, to be politically correct, my schlag. Whenever I take my pants down. So
your dingle dangle.
If the wing is in the air, COVID don't care. It'll get you.
Oh,
dude, mask up.
PSA that. If your wang is in the air, before COVID don't care.
Exactly. Now, before we continue, we do need to say we're not scientists.
No,
we're very smart. We know how science works, but we're not labeled as scientists. We're kind of like shunned from the science community because of our radical beliefs are not based on fact.
You fooled me.
But it's an airborne virus.
Wearing that sweet blazer. Well, I thought you had finally gotten your doctorate.
Not quite. I mean, I think I should be nominated for what's the thing that dorks get nominated for when they're really smart? There's a war.
Diplomas?
No, the Nobel.
They don't get nominated. They earn it.
A Nobel Peace Prize. Oh. temperature that comes in and out of yeah, which is also another science problem that we need to.
Did we figure out whether or not COVID actually does come from the vagina, and if girls are cleaving around, they need to be wearing masks?
You know what, guys?
It's a conversation people don't want to
There's
have.
gonna be a lot of foreplay going on this weekend, which means around the third base area will be exchanged.
I think you're throwing a lot of numbers.
If there are aerosol projectiles coming at your face around 8 miles an hour, you can't move out of the way fast enough, and you're not gonna wear a mask while you're doing said thing. Anyway, you know what? Let's just go ahead and let's not beat around the bush. We're gonna commit, and the theme of this romantic episode is gonna be sex, drugs, and rock and roll, because this episode is gonna have all that we've already down and dirty. We already talked about the sex. There's gonna be drugs that we're gonna be talking about for sure.
Oh yeah.
And we're gonna be talking about Twitter for sure.
So, Sean, the news that you have is that you actually got the vaccine.
I mean, if you cure, yeah, well, cure. And the thing is, not the vaccine is not available to everyone. And they said that in this long email that it's all blah 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 blah. So I don't want to read it, but the key point that I got, I had to sign something at the end of it. If you're signing up for this, because I'm in what they call an elite class of the first variety, and 1%. I don't know, not financially, but I mean health-wise, yes. I'm stronger now than 99% of the people out here. That's right. If we had to fight COVID mano a mano, then you're gonna punch in the face. I'm gonna hold my own. Yeah. At least until you get at least until you get that second dose. Yeah, but I mean, still. I don't think I really need the second. Or if I get second dose, why not? I should get a third one. I'm just gonna keep it going, kind of like the roids. Yeah. So I mean, not everybody is even brave and strong enough and capable. Their bodies can't handle it. That's why secretly they can't distribute the vaccine to the public and everything. They need the most elite people to make sure that the strongest can get it and they survive. Then society will be fine, because really only the strong survive. Yeah, I think that's how they actually do the test. Is where they test it on the strongest of us. Yes. That way, if any of them die, then we for sure know it's bad. Exactly, because if they tested it on the weakest, I was like, well, if they die, they're going to pass away anyway. They're weak. Yeah, that's it. It's survival of the fittest. It's just science. Exactly. There's a lot of science going on right now. So, and I'm kind of like a Captain America type at this point, where science is going on in and around my body, and I have emerged 2 feet taller. I feel taller. I filled out my suit jacket a little bit more. It's a little bit tighter. It's a little bit more, and that's only the first injection, bro. Dang. So you're gonna come back a full Chris Evans? Dude, I might have just. I can't be for sure, but I think I'm the real life but there's no way to know. They did say that when we were talking before I got pokey. There's gonna be some side effects. They said that your deltoids could swell up to like up to 12% larger. There's gonna be some of your reproductive organs are going to be engorged, and they will never get smaller again. There's gonna be like this constant smaller. No, even flaccid. I'm trying to say scientific. Yeah, so it's bigger, and you're also going to encounter more red skeletons in your life than red skulls. And then also they said something about those pheromones that's walking around in public, and there's young fertile ladies. They potentially science hasn't been around. The vaccine hasn't been around long enough to prove this theory wrong, but it could be impregnated just by me walking by. If they're ovulating, obviously. But yeah, that's science. So I gotta be careful. So now I have to socially distance unless I want to get them pregnant. So you have to socially distance for just child support. Exactly. Yeah. You don't want to be paying those patients. I mean, I imagine whenever when I fill out completely and I really
And the Monster Energy drink is just my regular water. Regular with that. You don't even need it. I have to be hydrated by something that's extreme as this. Oh yeah, the energy that your Captain America vaccine has given you bestowed upon me because of my worthiness is you drink Monsters now to go to sleep because this is my sleeping technique. Yeah, this is chamomile monster. So I still drink it from the can because I don't like to steep it. There's nothing. It's not a deal.
I've only had this vaccine for a couple hours. I still got. I mean, I'm not perfect. I'm only 99% perfect.
Yeah.
No.
Well, you know what? I will say this. Overall, the literature that I read, I haven't heard any of this stuff. Nobody's talking about it.
Nobody's talking about it because I think the elite, there's certain people in the elite sector.
Which you're part of now, that you got the vaccine.
I've been inducted into the Science Hall of Fame.
The inner circle.
Yeah, I'm part of it now, and I want to break down barriers. I'm not going to be one of these like role models that is going to like keep secrets away from the people. I'm a man of the people, for the people. I mean, if I'm going to be Captain America, like, I mean, I'm all about that freedom, baby. I need to really represent the people and the people that I'm going to be fighting Hydra for.
So when you got to like, how did this happen? Did you get to choose between the Pfizer and the Moderna? Were you like, one Pfizer, please?
So yeah. There's you show up and you can either stand in one line or another line.
Okay. So there was two lines.
Yeah.
Was one coming and the other going, or did one just have a large P and then the other one had another M?
Well, the thing is, no, there wasn't really anything
I'm not going in the pussy line. I'm in the man line.
Well, now that I'm thinking about it, there was like one that was going into the medical facility that was quite lengthy. And a lot of people that looked like they had to like sign in like paperwork and then like wait in a specific area. And I was like, I'm not about that. Yeah. And then there was like another one that was like pretty much a line that was pretty much non-existent. There was just one guy like waiting with like it was like some kind of like clipboard or something.
Okay.
And I was like, oh, there's obviously like Pfizer or Moderna. I gotta choose between. I was like, I'm not gonna wait with these chumps. I'm part of the 1% now. Like these people are still living in the 99 world. I was like, I'm embracing my future early.
Yeah.
So I approached this guy and it was kind of like off to the side more of the building. Like,
okay.
It was like a guy, by himself. No, and I cut straight to the front of the line.
Nice.
Nobody else was there.
Nice.
And I was like, hey, how's it going? And he's like, it's good. Are you here for the stuff? And I was like, yeah, I'm here for the stuff. And he kind of gave me like a wink, and I was like,
oh,
I was like, I've never been part of the 1% before. Like, I'm thinking all this.
Nervous.
I was like, I don't want to say something that makes me seem like a weak guy or something. I was like, I'm just gonna kind of like adapt to my situation,
And you don't want to ask too many questions because you're there for it. You're there for it.
We know all that.
How did
exactly? That's what he said. He's like, so you're ready for it right now? And I was like, ready for it.
Question.
Yeah.
What did this man look like? Did he have a white coat?
He was kind of like a trendier looking guy,
Okay.
He was very fashion forward, so he had a very like long, what looked like a kind of like unkempt beard, kind of.
Okay.
Actually, he had a suit jacket, kind of like this one.
Nice.
And he had like a scarf around, and he must have like recently come from the grocery store or something because he had his like shopping cart like right off to the side. I mean, he must have
classic vaccine worker.
Come across,
I like it.
across like a lot of like bargains because he had a lot of like random stuff in there. But he's part of the 1%, so he knows his way around a bargain probably.
Okay, yeah, okay.
Most for his money.
Yeah.
So he like pulled out a syringe like ready to go
from his jacket. He was just gonna give it to you right then and there.
Yeah. And then he got his like his little like thing to tie up my arm. Because he's gonna like help me out. And then he's like, okay, well it's I only take cash. I'm like, oh yeah, because I'm not gonna ask stupid questions like, oh, I thought I didn't have to pay for this. So.
You already had to sign it. That you thought it was being provided by the company that you work for.
And so I gave him $200.
Yeah.
$200.
$200.
Yeah. He asked for a 2 spot. So, and I wasn't gonna back down because I was like, I'm gonna make so much money once I'm vaccinated in Captain America. Like, I'll be totally fine.
So you went in thinking that you're going to come out as a Captain America. You had that expectation.
Okay, well, I knew I already have really strong antibodies.
Okay.
And if I develop more antibodies, I'm just going to get taller and stronger and basically like invincible the way Captain America is.
Okay.
So I kind of bridged the gap a little bit. I jumped from A to C, but B was a very short distance.
Okay.
So anyway, I gave him the cash money, and then he was tying up my arm, and And he's like, all right. And he like flicks and he's like, here you go. And he's like, and he started walking. I was like, wait, this is my first dose. He's like, oh, this is your first time? I was like, yeah, first dose for the vaccine. He's like, whatever you want to call it. And I was like, I don't know if this is Moderna or Pfizer anymore. But I was just like, I'm not going to ask like dumb bitch questions. I was like, I'll figure out my paperwork later. They'll probably just email me something. I was like, this is very routine for them.
Yeah. And you didn't have
new for me.
Yeah. You didn't have to fill anything out at this point. That's nice.
Learning. Yeah. So I was like, yeah, it's my first dose, first time. I was like, can you, if you could just like, help me with this, that would be great. He's like, yeah, sure. So he took the needle and he stuck me, and then I fell asleep in the alley for about 5 or 6 hours.
Okay.
I woke up not feeling very good, which is kind of normal. Whenever.
So during that time that you were kind of down, was there before you like went to sleep? I guess
I was like kind of like
in hibernation.
In and out. Yeah. I was like hibernating and like seeing smells and colors had smells. And
how was that portion of the vaccination?
No, Chris Evans never explains what happens on the inside of the pod. We only see what happens on the outside.
And you went podless this time.
Yeah. There's no pod.
Yeah.
I mean, that was like the 50s or something.
Well, that's also a movie. We're in the real life where everything comes through a vaccine.
Yeah. So yeah, they don't tell you that, you start to like feel like a little loopy and dizzy, and you start to kind of, I don't know, like some people would say like hallucinate a little bit.
Okay.
And then you start to kind of feel sick to your stomach.
Did you feel warm, fuzzy all over and just constantly feeling like the world was one and you were with it?
Like kind of, and then I felt like I was going to throw up, and then I passed out.
Okay.
Because my body was going through a lot of changes.
Okay.
So I wasn't ready for it. And yeah, and then
you had to build that muscle.
That's right. And then I woke up, and then and my wallet was gone. But I was like, oh, they probably needed to get my ID and like my social security card or whatever, I was
they'll
like,
mail it.
I was like, I was like, everything's like, I had my phone on me still, so I was like, everything's electronic. I got Apple Pay, baby. Like, I don't need anything in my wallet. That's old school. Driver's license is important. But I was like, nah. I was like, I don't even need a car. I can run so fast. So then
so you started running.
So I started running, and then I realized I was still tied up, and my arm was like asleep. So I had to do that, and then but then I was like, oh yeah, I drove here. So I probably need to bring my car back.
Oh
yeah. And I was like, probably driving without a license isn't okay. But I was like, I'm in the 1% now. Yep. And then got home, started to feel sick to my stomach again, passed out, and then you came over.
Okay.
Yeah.
What a experience. And now you're just jazzed.
And now
you're just a full CA.
Yeah. I feel like I really hit like a low point earlier today, but now I feel like $1 million because I'm back to. I feel great
now. Do you feel like you have just a unquenchable need to now have the vaccination constantly?
Oh, dude, I need to go back and do that again.
You're gonna need to find that. You need to find that. That technician.
Exactly. Like, I mean, because I'm in that elite class, Captain America type. I was like a real like a hero. And if you're a woman, you would be a heroine.
Yeah,
but. Why am I thinking about heroin right now?
I don't know. Don't drop that word.
I don't know. Why do I want heroin? I don't know. Sex, drugs, rock and roll, though.
Sex, drugs, rock and roll.
No, but I got the vaccine, and now I want to do heroin. But I guess my body could handle it.
Your body can probably handle heroin. Now that you know that you can have the vaccine and not have anything bad happen to you whatsoever, other than your wallet gets stolen.
Yeah.
But
wait.
I think we've really discovered quite a bit.
I don't.
Are you rethinking which line you should have stood in?
Yeah, my head. Sorry, I've got a really bad headache right now.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, like everybody else that I ran into after, like coworkers and stuff, they have the cards and people taking pictures. And it's like the proof of vaccination. And, and I didn't get that. I just kind of like my body felt like it was dying, unless I got more vaccine.
Oh, dang, man, Sean. I don't know if you went. I don't think you used enough science when getting your vaccine.
I think I had a bad vaccine. I think
you might have to go back and get
the
more.
Medical professional switched out Moderna vaccine for heroin.
Oh no!
Now that I'm thinking about it,
did any of your other coworkers talk about dropping $200 on a?
No, they no.
They didn't.
None of them. None of them passed out in the alley.
Oh. Wow, you definitely got something different than them.
Maybe it's like an elite version of the
elite. Oh, Sean. Oh, buddy boy.
I'm gonna be fine.
Are you?
If I get more of that vaccine.
You get more vaccine. Well, here's Sean. Good news. The CDC recommends you get at least one more.
Oh, thank God.
But I think you have
never felt so good in my life.
Bad news.
Yeah.
I think you have to wait like 60 days. 2 weeks, I think, is what it is. You're going to try and find that guy after the podcast, aren't you?
But yeah. All right. So anyway, did Sean get vaccinated, or did he have his first encounter with heroin, or maybe, I don't know, methamphetamine? Whatever it was in a vial. It costed $200. I got robbed and I felt terrible, but I need to do it again.
That's all you know.
So it probably was Pfizer.
I'm a Moderna man.
Yeah. Oh.
Well, we are obviously big proponents of science and are great. Sean.
So what Brayton's trying to say is, we're on the cutting edge of the scientific community in experimental world, and in cue with that experimental forefront of new things happening around us in the world that we live in. There's new things going on and evolving on Twitter. I would say there's a new climate around, and it's not as friendly as some people wish it would be. Right?
It's actually very interesting, because it's kind of why I think there's, and we may actually be on almost two different ends of the situation. I wonder, because when you texted me about it texted me about it earlier, I kind of was like, oh yeah, there's something totally wrong about this. And then I kind of thought about it, and maybe I had less of a problem with what was happening.
So what was happening is, from one of the most popular television shows, The Mandalorian, Gina Carano plays Cara Dune in that show.
Excellent TV show.
Yeah, and she's a very strong combat character. She does a lot of fighting. She comes in and out of episodes, but I would say she's a strong B level person. Yeah. So anyway, really cool character. She was an MMA fighter before she got into acting. Mm-hmm. But she is a very well known as a conservative in the Hollywood scene, which is kind of frowned upon these days.
May I say, a very attractive lady.
I think she's, you know what she reminds me of? She reminds me of a really strong, physically strong version of that one actress that was on Law and Order SVU. Oh, now, if you don't know what I'm talking about, no, I'm sorry. Oh, bummer.
Well, there you go.
Anyway,
so Gina Carano has she is conservative, I guess people would say. I don't necessarily know it. I don't necessarily know what conservative necessarily means, but she, the Twitter community has gotten on her case for several things, but she's been very open about supporting Trump. Mm-hmm. She's very open with being on the kind of the right side, the traditional right side of the spectrum of politics. Mm-hmm. And she's gotten in hot water about this previously,
and people have said there was a hashtag fire her or whatever.
Yeah, she's been in and out. She changed her Twitter profile to beep boop as profile pictures, which is kind of funny, but not you don't do it on Twitter. And so yesterday she was fired from Lucasfilms / Disney.
So Disney owns Lucasfilm, but Lucasfilm had the authority to fire her because Lucasfilm people were still overseeing development of Star Wars and the Mandalorian type stuff, which is the only thing that she was involved in as far as Lucasfilm and Disney goes. So she was fired over a specific tweet, or just the consistency of her.
It was a building up of it. I think, as far as Disney, the company goes, it was a building up of it. This is kind of the crux point. She tweeted about how being a conservative was somewhat historically equivalent to what the Jews went through during the Holocaust.
Okay.
Now, that is a very, very broad way of a broad description of what she actually tweeted. I would actually highly suggest that people actually read what her tweet was, because
and read history.
And read history, because she was kind of giving a historical context of it didn't start with the Nazi Party, like rounding up the Jews and killing them. Right. It was neighbors and people kind of really talking the kind of the degradation of the culture itself.
It was the overstepping of political the Nazi political party, and then kind of isolating people that did not think with like the same way that as they did or hold the same ideals as them.
Well, she was I think
which is kind of what she was equating to.
Well, she was basically saying that it was before and it was neighbor kind of against neighbor.
Okay.
Which is similar to we're a divided nation ish. Now, I think we're less so in person. I think a lot of it feels online, but no matter what, I think everyone can agree there's a little bit of tension in the country right now. Mm-hmm. Yes.
So what's your opinion on it?
Well, here's the thing. That can be skewed as anti-Semitic. So it did the Jewish community and people on Twitter outraged about it, and then Disney fired her.
Right.
Now, my take on it is that Disney can hire and fire whoever they want. Like, it does, it really, if you are representing the brand and what you do kind of cultivates outrage or cultivates friction towards the brand, then the business kind of is able to cut ties with you if they want to.
Sure.
Like that is well within the within
if they
it's a decision that makes sense if you're a business.
Yeah, as long as it is something that really kind of like stirred the pot that much. If it was a topic or like a social media post that was really that controversial. So, but
apparently it was, and that I think is the broader issue that I think people kind of need to grapple with, because a lot of people are now canceling their Disney Plus accounts because
the hashtag cancel Disney Plus is trending now.
Exactly, because Gina Carano's partner, or Pedro Pascal, the Mandalorian, he has also tweeted political things that did have to do with kind of the Holocaust too, but on the other end of the spectrum, as far as he's very left. So they're kind of pointing out the hypocrisy of like, well, she's posting about this and he posted something similar.
There's different ends of the spectrum as far as the Holocaust references go.
No, well, he posted a Twitter pic that was that had a picture of I believe kind of kids in concentration camps, and then the kids in cages, the border cages that he was equating Trump and all that. So the issue is people are kind of pointing out the hypocrisy of Disney, kind of picking and choosing and pointing out that because she's conservative, this is what happened. And I think all of this is more apparent. That shows the culture war that we're in.
Exactly.
What are we getting outraged about? Why are we getting outraged about these things? And obviously, things that there's a lot of tribalism that's going on with it as well. So you got one of our members, now let's go get one of theirs, and like why
tit for tat, eye for an eye.
Yeah,
petty.
Yeah, exactly. And I just think it's very interesting that. That on the like people on the left or liberals want to cancel Gina Carano because of that, and then conservatives want to back her and cancel their Disney Plus, which is very interesting because Gina Carano is like you really don't know her, and and you know, people can cancel a Disney Plus. That's fine too. Hey, that's it. Speak with your dollar.
You guys can do whatever you want, but it's just interesting because Disney has kept people on staff that were convicted sex offenders.
Who?
I don't know their names off the top of my head. I would look it up on my phone.
We're just gonna, and I think murderers too.
No, for definitely like people that were not just like accused, convicted sex offenders that were, you know, because Hollywood's full of people like that, shady people that use their power for bad things. But they've been able to keep their jobs. So it's like, if you want to keep your job but still do iffy stuff, you'd be better off doing bad sexual stuff,
bad sexual
bad
stuff.
bad things versus tweeting about your political opinions. Is that the world that we're living in right now?
It seems like it. I mean,
what if things were reversed though? Like if it was a right-sided dominant political atmosphere right now, and then somebody posted something.
See, that's the thing about like when you talk about like conservatives and how kind of their mind works, because back in the day they were all about censorship as well, but on kind of a morality standpoint, where it's very interesting to think that that Deadpool is going to be on Disney, a rated R film that also Gina Carano was in.
Oh, really?
And you know, you almost saw half a boob in that movie, which was Gina Carano's, and they would probably cancel her for that. Like the immodesty of
back in the day.
Yeah, exactly. So it's kind of the ebbs and flow of who's in cultural power.
Yeah.
Right now, and I think it's just we're in a shift that is kind of leaning towards one way. It'll probably swing back another, and the thing is it sucks that you can't really have a voice if you are in that industry, but it almost seems like that's kind of the understood thing, that you can't really buck up against the system if you also want to be part of it.
I definitely know where you're coming from, because it's like you can't.
Well, you're Captain America.
Exactly.
You got that Disney.
You can.
Chris Evans is out.
My contract is over with Disney, really.
Oh,
but I mean,
you're not going to accept any more.
I have a reputation.
Offers.
There's always paychecks to be made. I'm in talks with Chris Evans right now.
Oh, okay.
I slid into his DMs.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So technically, talks have happened. Okay. He hasn't responded, but the talks.
It's a one-sided conversation.
I mean, at this point, he's like the face of the character, and as far as Hollywood goes, that's fine. I don't need that.
All you need.
But I mean, maybe if I was like a body double.
Oh,
I was
for sure.
like, yeah. If I was like, hey Chris, if you want to take like a couple months off of the gym, like, don't worry about it. I'll be ready, just as long as you
get your couple doses.
Yeah, I mean, I'll get my doses in. Dude, I need to get more Pfizer. I need to get more of that Pfizer. Can I have $200? Can I have money?
Mm-hmm. You asked me that like 20 minutes ago, and I wasn't going to give it to you then. You were scratching yourself a lot.
Yeah, I don't know that Pfizer. Oh, anyway, so yeah, I mean, the thing.
But what were you going to say about the kind of the conservative nature of what we were saying?
Just like how I'm personally conflicted at this point, because it's like Captain America is a unifying personality.
Yeah.
If I'm going to really step into this role that's been presented to me.
Yeah.
Then I need to bring people together. I need to use what's the Spider-Man quote? With great power comes great responsibility.
Yes, of course.
So there's a lot of responsibility on the table, and like personally, I need to make sacrifices, and sometimes that's going to be maybe not sharing my political opinion on the micro scale, on small things such as this, and really just making sure I'm saying the right thing to bring everybody together, and kind of like keep an open mind and less of the neighbors at each other's throats, like you brought up earlier.
Yeah.
I just really want to be the voice of reason in this situation. And I really just want to fight Red Skull I'm ready.
You're ready?
Yeah.
You've been training for a whole day.
I've been
mostly on the floor.
I took naps, but I've been rejuvenated. So it's mind, body, and soul. And sometimes naps are more about soul than body. Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense.
I mean, maybe I'm like super confident because I just polished off that monster. Low carb. Gotta keep it tight.
Gotta keep them gutters, you know?
That's right. All right. So,
but that's I think it's a very it sucks to lose your job no matter what. She woke up on the wrong side of the bed.
But also she had warnings.
She'll be fine.
She was warned by her PR reps, like the Lucas. They were like, "Hey, you can use Twitter to share your opinions about stuff. However, like with Disney." They probably didn't say because we're a left-leaning company, but they're like, because we want to advocate for what's good on the surface, right? It's like you are now in the limelight in this situation. It's like you can share your things, but you cannot just go in and like stir the pot. You can't ruffle feathers. Exactly. And she didn't back down, which is kind of
admirable.
Which is kind of the American thing to do.
Yeah.
Did she do it the best way? Obviously not, because she lost her job. If she really had that big of issues with what they were trying to do to control her, she would have been like, then I'm going to quit. But obviously the paycheck's there.
Yeah, obviously. Now, I think it just in this climate, this craziness, everyone, this is going to be a little bit of a hard pill to swallow, but everybody needs to swallow this pill. Calm your tits.
Oh, thank you.
Just calm your tits. There's too many wild tits around. Everyone needs to
like
just
It's like 1969 out here at Woodstock. It's like, you know what? Everybody put your top back on.
You got your flip-floppers.
Stop doing drugs and go home and, you know what? Have a bologna sandwich and just like ask your neighbor if they need help.
Yeah. Like just
stop listening to rock and roll music. Well, we'll never stop listening to rock and roll.
Never.
But you know, just chillax. Yeah. Everybody, we're not, the thing is we are living in such a privileged society.
Oh yeah.
And we don't have a common enemy anymore.
No.
We're just fighting each other.
Let's figure out an enemy that America can go against that doesn't hurt anyone.
Well, it does.
But we need a good enemy, but we don't want to kill anybody. We don't want to advocate violence.
Well, okay.
I mean, some people would say our enemy should be the climate. We should fight the climate.
But you can't fight the climate.
No, wait.
You have to appease the climate.
You can't. We don't want to fight the climate. We want to fight climate change.
There's certain things in the climate that are changing for the good. There's something that are changing for the bad. We're not scientists, remember.
Correct. But we need to come up with an enemy that we can all just be mad at.
I know exactly. Now, I mean, I could put more thought into it, but I'm just going to go with my gut, Captain America instincts. There is a parasite on our society, I would say, that has been a bottom feeder, that has been like really like turning society upside down.
Speak truth.
And you said no violence, but this is the one thing that I think if people could, purged out, get their violence directed towards this common enemy, eradicate it.
Okay.
Because it has no place in today's world.
Okay.
And I think I know exactly where I'm going with this.
Drop Thor's hammer.
Possums have been a huge issue in recent years, and I know that you like possums. This is ridiculous. Nope.
Think about it.
They're nocturnal, garbage thrashing, rabies spreading. They've been spreading
giant
COVID.
Rats.
They're giant, disgusting rats that hiss at you. They're mutant cat rats.
Yeah.
And they spread diseases, and they tear up your garbage can.
You want to know what my I've had several interactions with possums in my life. You'd be like, Brayton, how would you ever do that if you weren't hunting possums? So like, no, they're pretty prevalent in society.
Right.
The first time I was walking to my trailer. Yeah, I lived in a trailer for a little bit. What of it?
Yeah.
High school's high school.
Yeah.
So I have to go out. I have to go outside to get into my trailer, and there was a fence along the way. And we live in a neighborhood that had a bunch of cats everywhere. And you know me, I love them putty cats.
Yeah, sure.
And so it's a little bit dark outside, and I see something crawling along the top of the fence, and I I'm like, hey, buddy. So I'm kind of going up to it.
Because you thought it was a cat.
A little bit behind. And then just from the corner, it turns and goes,
Yep.
and I just lose my mind. I go, oh, you not a cat. I need to get out of here. And it was the ugliest looking thing that I've ever seen. It's got that stupid looking fleshy tail to it.
Yeah, what's up with that?
Okay. I don't know.
So as far as people like, yeah, that's just like a nuisance. That's just something that Brayton was scared about. No, let me tell you a story that I had.
Okay.
So we all know tax season's upon us. So I encountered a possum whenever I was walking to my car early morning because I wanted to get this stuff taken care of bright and early. I had a tax appointment.
You had to go get your visor vaccine.
So I had my paperwork and I saw a possum and it hissed at me and it felt like a bad omen. There was something spiritually dark about this creature.
Whoa.
Not of this world, I would say. And I was like, this is giving me a bad vibe. And then I went and did my taxes. And then I found out I owed the IRS thousands of dollars because I've been lying about my taxes my entire life.
Whoa.
And they finally caught up to me. And I was like, it was the possum. I was like, because every other time I do my tax, I'd never seen a possum before. And I saw a possum.
Whoa.
And I was
and
like,
you got away with each and every other year.
Yeah. And I didn't see a possum. So, I mean, that's just, I just put two and two together. And now I have an enemy. And I was like, you know what? Now that I think about it, possums have kind of been the beginning place of all the problems in modern America. When you think about it, they're like, okay, what's universal healthcare? Debated thing is like, how do we afford it? Blah, blah, blah. People are getting sick all the time. How do you do this? How do you regulate it? Well, first of all, if you got rid of the possums that are at night spreading diseases around,
COVID, they're not wearing masks.
Exactly. They get into the trash. Trash goes to the garbage and recycling centers. They're distributing that all over it. It's coming counter with the garbage cans that are driving around every street. They're spreading diseases around.
You know, there's at least two guys that are finishing off like bottles of Arizona water.
Yeah.
Arrowhead iced tea. Probably Arrowhead water, Arizona iced tea. My bad. I hang out with a lot of garbage guys.
Yeah.
So they at least get a little bit.
And then in our lifetime, something that people don't even like recognize is that possums can actually like. There's a thing that their teeth give off that can actually like slowly erode metal. Did you know this? Yeah.
No.
Yes. Like they're actually like, it's not, imagine like foaming at the mouth like rabies, but instead of like the foam like being like crazy like it is on TV, it's like a chemical thing that can erode things. Because they're scavengers, so they have to be able to eat and dissolve really gross things in their stomach.
Yeah, let's get rid of these things. Like, do they do anything good?
And I mean, they didn't take it seriously, I guess, in New York City. But did you know that New York City, as far as the East Coast goes, is the #1 concentration of the possum population? New York City, and guess what year the CDC did that study?
2012.
No, earlier.
2008.
The fall of 2001.
That's like
right before 9/11. Oh, because they said, jet fuel. I mean, jet fuel, it doesn't burn hard enough to erode through steel. But it's like if there were, literally bottom feeders eating the steel structure and were weakening it whenever this thing got hit by bad terrorists.
You're talking,
and how do we know terrorists?
You're talking about terrorist possums?
I'm talking about that the possums were in collusion with the terrorists or the actual people that were hijacking a plane. Because possums, they don't have the strength to fly a plane.
They don't have the opposable thumbs.
Dexterity. like turn right. And have you ever noticed that box cutters?
Does that possum have box cutters?
Are perfectly formed to fit into the hand of a possum. So did possums do 9/11?
Dude, possums can take over planes.
Dude, did possums?
I can't think of anything scarier.
I think the ones that figured out they could take over planes did, and then they all blew up in the explosion. And then also they're spreading disease, so they probably did COVID-19. And so when you really think about it, possums are like the biggest problem to our society, and that's why we have a really important sponsor for this episode that didn't pay us to say all of those things, but their product is amazing. It's called the Opossum-ator, I believe.
The Opossum-ator.
Yes.
It's a family-owned company from the Bayou.
Yeah,
we don't know for sure,
but their dialect says Bayou.
We were on the phone with them, and the conversation went. I felt like it was pretty quick, but we caught a couple words. I believe it was like, we got this perfect product for you.
Talk about it on the podcast.
It's called the Opossum-ator. Please, here's a recording that you could use.
Sure, and then they Venmoed the Venmoed us, and we're like,
and they sent us a recording,
and we can play that for you in like 1 quick minute at the end of the episode, or unless you have it queued up ready to go right now.
Hold on, let me see here.
Sure.
They sent it to us.
Oh, they sent it to us already. Oh, so we can listen to this live and then talk about that at the very end, and we can sign off at the end of this episode.
Of course.
It's about that time. All right, you guys. So yeah, from the Bayou. So you gotta be thinking. Yeah, it's obviously like the deep south. So somewhere over there. These are like people that have developed some kind of like swamp possum fighting product. If Brayden can pull it up.
Okay, I think this is the right one. They may have sent us two, and one of them wasn't as good as the other.
Sure. Let's figure out which one this is.
Get that Opossum-ator? Yeah, what's going to do all that fish meat? We're going to chew and all that dip. Well, I'm going to tell you how. Why don't you get that thing right in here, Chuck? You're going to get kerblam. Those people ain't got that goddamn nerve meter. Nobody has the house. There were 3 easy payments of $19.45. I got all it. You're down tune. So run to get around and get yourself that Opossum-ator. Yeah, tell your mom to get me the meat. Make sure that you and that will never ever forget it was all Barack Obama's fault. Yourself will rise again.
We're going to have to actually review these things a little bit beforehand, because I did not realize that they...
I didn't listen to the end thing about the South will rise again.
I did hear that.
But to be fair, their product sounds like some kind of single-use firearm that can destroy what is destroying our country that we love so much.
The possums.
The possums.
So
I think it's... They said kerblam.
That is...
So I think...
That sounds like something... And it sounds legal. I think you can legally purchase those things.
But it's kind of weird because it's kind of cheap for a firearm, so that's why it had single use. I don't know. Why don't you check it out? I'm pretty sure it's like Opossum-ator.com.
Yeah, that sounds more like a .net.
Yeah. Maybe they are on Instagram. I don't know how good the Wi-Fi works in the Bayou.
They might actually have an Etsy shop.
They probably do.
They probably got a couple of possum traps.
So anyway, I think that's all you need to know about the Opossum-ator and possums in our country.
I think we explained it pretty well. The commercial was pretty clear about what the product was, what it did, why you need it. I don't think we would need anything else. But
I think we just need to round off this episode to kind of address Valentine's Day and sign off.
Okay, guys,
have a great Valentine's Day.
Remember, a great Valentine's Day.
Wrap it up with a mask if you want to. Follow us on social media. We're on TikTok now, so check us out.
Yeah, all of our links are in the description. Mm-hmm. So if you're watching this on YouTube, thanks for watching. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. And we always do appreciate it every single week if you would leave us a review on iTunes or anything else where you can place a good review for us. We thank you guys. Have a great week. We'll see you next time. And always, stay noisy.